When people talk about class, they usually think money, lifestyle, or the right clothes. But real class is built on traits you carry every day, the kind that speak for you even before you open your mouth. These traits aren't loud, they're not flashy, and they're not learned overnight. They show up quietly in how you treat yourself, how you treat others, and how you move through the world. And the moment you start practicing them, people feel the difference instantly. Class shows in how you respond, not how you react, because the difference between responding and reacting is the difference between control and chaos. Anyone can react. Anyone can snap, jump to conclusions, or let their emotions run the show. That is the easy thing. But a response comes from a place of awareness. It comes from a steady mind that knows the moment does not control you unless you hand over the reins. When you respond, you are not pretending to be calm. You are choosing to be grounded. You are choosing to observe first, understand second, and speak last. This is what creates that quiet strength people notice but cannot always explain. It is not loud, not dramatic, not emotional. It is measured, it is thoughtful, it is intentional. Class shows up in the space you give yourself before you say something you cannot take back. It shows up in the ability to let a moment breathe, even when your ego is begging you to prove a point. People with class understand that not everything deserves their energy. Not every situation deserves an immediate reaction. Not every tone or attitude needs to be matched. Instead of mirroring chaos, they stabilize the environment around them simply by being steady. When you pause instead of explode, when you think instead of assume, when you choose to listen instead of dominate the moment, you shift the entire dynamic. People feel it, they respect it because it is rare. Most people rush, most people speak before thinking, most people let emotion override intention. But when you respond instead of react, you set yourself apart. You also show class by choosing clarity over confusion. When something bothers you, you do not jump to the worst interpretation. You ask questions, you check your assumptions, you take responsibility for understanding instead of defending. This is powerful because it stops conflict before it escalates. It shows maturity, it shows discipline, it shows that you value peace over winning an argument. When you move like this, people trust you more. They know you are not unpredictable. They know you are not controlled by mood swings. They know you will not lash out at them. That makes you someone others feel safe around, and safety is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can have. Class also shows through emotional composure. This does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending things do not affect you. It means recognizing your emotions without handing them the steering wheel. When you are hurt, you speak from honesty instead of anger. When you are frustrated, you address the issue without attacking the person. When you are disappointed, you communicate with intention instead of blame. This level of emotional intelligence is a form of elegance because it shows discipline. It shows that you hold yourself to a higher standard of behavior regardless of what someone else does. Responding instead of reacting gives you power. It gives you authority over yourself. It keeps you from being manipulated by tension, disrespect, or miscommunication. People with class do not let others drag them into messy situations. They rise above without being arrogant. They stay calm without being passive. They stay kind without being naive. This balance makes them stand out in every environment because they bring stability where others bring drama. Over time, this trait builds a reputation. People begin to associate you with wisdom, maturity, and confidence. They know you can handle pressure. They know you can handle conflict. They know you can handle yourself. And once you can handle yourself, you can handle anything around you. Class is choosing dignity even when someone else doesn't, because dignity is not something that depends on the behavior of others. It is something you carry within yourself, something you decide to uphold regardless of the situation. Anyone can act composed when people are respectful, but real class shows when someone pushes your boundaries, disrespects you, or tries to provoke you. In those moments, choosing dignity means refusing to let someone else's lack of character pull you out of your own. It means remembering that your behavior represents you, not them. When you respond with poise instead of pettiness, when you protect your integrity instead of your ego, you demonstrate a strength that most people never develop. Choosing dignity looks like walking away from arguments that are designed to make you lose your temper. It looks like not lowering your standards just to match someone else's energy. It looks like knowing that disrespect is loud and impulsive, but self-respect is quiet and steady. People with class do not need to announce their worth. They show it through restraint. They show it through control. They show it through the ability to stay grounded even when someone else tries to create chaos. This is not weakness, it is power. It shows that someone else cannot dictate how you behave. They cannot drag you into their emotional storm. They cannot make you abandon your values just to prove a point. Dignity also comes from understanding the difference between asserting yourself and fighting for validation. When someone mistreats you, you can address it with clarity and firmness without being aggressive. You can stand your ground without being confrontational. You can set boundaries without being disrespectful. People often think class means being soft or overly polite, but real class includes strength. It includes the ability to say no with confidence, to walk away without regret, and to express yourself without losing your composure. When you operate from dignity, you do not need to raise your voice to be heard. You do not need to argue to be understood. Your presence speaks louder than anything you say. Choosing dignity means understanding that not every insult needs a reaction. Not every situation requires you to defend yourself. Sometimes the most powerful move is to remain silent, to let someone reveal their character through their own behavior. When you remain composed, while someone else becomes emotional or aggressive, people notice the contrast. They see who is in control and who is not. They see who is grounded and who is triggered. They see who is acting from values and who is acting from insecurity. This distinction strengthens your image and protects your peace. Class also shows through how you handle people who underestimate you. Instead of proving yourself, you allow your actions to speak. Instead of seeking revenge, you focus on your growth. Instead of getting pulled into negativity, you stay aligned with your purpose. This is dignity on a deeper level. It means not giving away your energy to situations that do not deserve it. It means maintaining emotional independence. It means choosing to be the calm force in the room, even when tension rises around you. Over time, this way of carrying yourself transforms the way people treat you. They know you operate from a higher standard. They know you will not be easily provoked. They know you respect yourself too much to entertain disrespect. This presence commands a different level of attention and admiration. People trust you more. They come to you for perspective. They look up to you because you have shown that dignity is not something you perform. It is something you live, even when others don't show it to you. Class is calm confidence, not performance, because true confidence is never something you have to announce or prove. It is something that radiates naturally from a person who knows their value without needing validation. Calm confidence is steady. It does not fluctuate based on who is watching or who is listening. It comes from a place of inner security where you no longer need attention, applause, or approval to feel grounded. People with class carry themselves with this quiet certainty. They do not compete for the spotlight. They do not try to outshine others. Their presence alone communicates everything. This is why calm confidence is so magnetic. It invites people in without forcing anything. It creates space instead of demanding it. When someone moves with this kind of ease, it makes others feel at ease too. Class is shown in the way you enter a room. You do not rush. You do not shrink. You do not exaggerate your energy. You simply exist with intention. You make eye contact without staring. You speak clearly without dominating the conversation. You hold yourself with posture that reflects self-respect, not arrogance. People can feel when you are comfortable with yourself. They can feel when your confidence is real and not something you are trying to project. Calm confidence is the difference between someone who needs everyone to notice them and someone who knows they will be noticed naturally. This form of confidence does not need loud expressions. It does not rely on showing off, proving superiority, or needing to be right. Instead, it shows up in subtle behaviors that reveal emotional maturity. It is seen when you listen more than you talk. It is seen when you choose thoughtfulness over quick reactions. It is seen when you can handle criticism without falling apart or becoming defensive. It is seen when you do not need to respond to every challenge to your ego. People with class understand that confidence is not about winning every moment. It is about remaining rooted in who you are, even when the situation tries to shake you. Calm confidence also shows in the way you treat others. You do not belittle people. You do not compete with them. You do not try to make yourself look better by making someone else look worse. You support, encourage, and uplift without expecting anything in return. This is how people who have class create an environment others feel comfortable in. They do not carry chaotic energy. They do not create tension. They do not need to be the loudest voice to be heard. When you are confident in yourself, you can admire others without feeling threatened. You can celebrate their success without comparing it to your own. You can allow people to shine without feeling like it dims your light. Another aspect of calm confidence is the way you handle uncertainty. You do not panic. You do not spiral. You do not assume the worst. Instead, you ground yourself, assess the situation, and move with clarity. This ability to stay composed under pressure is a hallmark of someone with class. It shows emotional discipline. It shows resilience. It shows that your confidence is not situational but internal. People trust those who remain steady when everything around them feels unstable. They look to you for guidance, not because you demand it, but because you naturally provide a sense of stability. Calm confidence does not crave validation because it already holds self-approval. It does not chase attention because it is content without it. It does not perform for an audience because it is not built on external praise. When you carry yourself with calm confidence, you communicate that you respect yourself, that you trust yourself, and that you do not need permission to exist fully. This is what sets people with class apart. They are rooted, steady, and quietly powerful, and that quiet power commands more respect than any performance ever could. Class is treating everyone with the same level of respect because it shows that your principles are not selective. It is easy to be kind to someone who benefits you, impresses you, or carries status, but real class shows in how you treat people who cannot offer you anything. Your consistency reveals your character. When you speak to a stranger with the same warmth you give a friend, when you acknowledge the person others overlook, when you show patience to someone who moves slower, struggles more, or communicates differently, you demonstrate a level of maturity most people never reach. This kind of respect is not about being polite for show. It is about recognizing the humanity in every person, no matter their position, background, or appearance. People with class understand that they are not above anyone. They understand that respect is not a currency to be traded, but a standard to be lived by. Treating everyone with equal respect means you do not shift your attitude based on who is watching. You do not act differently around people with influence compared to those who have none. You do not elevate some and ignore others. Your tone stays steady. Your manners stay intact. Your humility stays present. This consistency builds trust because people feel safe around someone who does not change depending on the situation. They know your kindness is real, not strategic. They know your courtesy is genuine, not performative. They know that how you treat them reflects who you are, not what you want from them. Class shows when you give someone attention without rushing them. When you listen fully, not just waiting for your turn to speak. When you make someone feel seen, even in small moments. These subtle acts matter because most people walk through life feeling unseen or undervalued. When you take a moment to acknowledge their presence, you give them something meaningful. This kind of respect is not grand. It is simple but powerful. It creates connection. It builds goodwill. It leaves a lasting impression that people never forget. Someone may forget your name, but they will not forget how you made them feel. Another part of this trait is emotional control. Respect means not speaking down to people even when you are frustrated. It means not humiliating others to showcase authority. It means correcting without shaming, guiding without belittling, and addressing conflict without attacking. People with class know how to communicate clearly without harming someone's dignity. They understand that respect in difficult moments is the real test of character. Anyone can be respectful when they are comfortable, but class appears in moments of inconvenience, irritation, or disagreement. It is in those moments where your composure shows your values. Treating everyone with equal respect also means refraining from gossip, judgment, and assumptions. It means giving people grace instead of jumping to conclusions. It means understanding that everyone has a story you do not see. People with class do not use other people's flaws as entertainment. They do not speak about others in ways that diminish them. They choose to elevate conversations rather than drag them into negativity. This kind of mindset separates you instantly because it shows emotional intelligence, empathy, and maturity. Over time, this consistent respect shapes your reputation. People start to associate you with kindness and fairness. They see you as someone who carries integrity everywhere, not just when it is convenient. They trust you because you do not shift your behavior based on gain. They admire you because your respect is unconditional, not transactional. This builds influence, not through force or performance, but through genuine character that speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Class is valuing self-control over proving a point because the need to be right is often rooted in insecurity, while the ability to stay composed comes from inner strength. When you prioritize self-control, you are choosing to protect your peace instead of feeding your ego. You understand that not every disagreement requires a victory, not every misunderstanding needs a confrontation, and not every challenge to your character deserves a response. People with class know that proving a point rarely changes someone's mind, but losing control always reveals your own. Self-control is a quiet power. It is the ability to stay steady when situations try to pull you into chaos, and that steadiness shows a level of discipline that immediately earns respect. Valuing self-control means you pause before reacting. You give yourself space to breathe and think instead of letting emotion flood your judgment. You speak with intention instead of speaking out of frustration. You decide whether something is worth your energy before giving it away freely. This kind of inner discipline protects you from unnecessary conflict and helps you keep your identity intact even in difficult moments. People notice when you stay calm under pressure. They notice when you choose maturity over impulse. They notice when you rise above situations designed to make you lose your composure. This ability to hold yourself steady makes your presence feel stronger and more grounded. This kind of class shows most clearly in moments of misunderstanding. When someone misreads your intentions, questions your character, or pushes your boundaries, your instinct might be to defend yourself aggressively. But when you value self-control, you approach the moment differently. Instead of arguing, you clarify. Instead of attacking, you explain. Instead of escalating, you steady the environment. You understand that the louder you become, the weaker your position looks. Strength is calm. Strength is measured. Strength is choosing to communicate with clarity instead of competing with someone's emotions. By doing this, you not only protect your peace, but also elevate the entire interaction. Self-control also means knowing when to walk away. There are situations where staying and arguing does nothing but drain you. There are people who do not want understanding. They want reaction. When you value your inner stability, you recognize when a situation has reached a point where silence is more powerful than explanation. Choosing to disengage is not weakness, it is wisdom. It shows that you understand your boundaries and do not allow anyone else's behavior to determine how you behave. People with class know that sometimes the most powerful move is to remove your energy from places that cannot appreciate it. Another aspect of self-control is emotional regulation. Everyone feels anger, disappointment, frustration, and hurt. The difference is how you express it. Class is not about suppressing emotions, but expressing them thoughtfully. It is saying what needs to be said without sabotaging the moment. It is addressing issues without tearing someone down. It is acknowledging your feelings without letting those feelings dictate your behavior. This level of emotional maturity is rare because it requires consistent self-awareness. It requires choosing long-term peace over temporary satisfaction. It requires understanding that impulsive reactions may feel good for a moment, but can create damage that lasts far longer. People who value self-control develop a presence that others trust. You become someone others can rely on not to explode, not to act unpredictably, and not to let drama steer your decisions. You show steadiness in situations where others feel overwhelmed. You show clarity where others show confusion. You show discipline where others show desperation. This consistency builds strength of character. It creates quiet confidence. It sets you apart because most people let their emotions control them, but you choose to control your emotions instead.